What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Impact Defense Podcast. In this episode, we're actually going to talk about when you are traveling, going to airports and planes and all of those things, as opposed to going to airports and taking buses. I don't know where I was going with that one. All right, and first off, before we move on, let's talk about the official fuel of Impact, Blackout Coffee. Today, we are drinking what is not my favorite. I think it finally happened. I finally found one I didn't care for all that much. I can drink it. It's not bad. It's still coffee, but hot honey.
It actually was better than I expected it to be. And I didn't mind it. You know, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you said like, oh, I actually kind of like it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I don't think I can drink it in as large quantities as I can other cups of
that
coffee.
Makes sense.
But we work with kids all the time, so we end up with like colds more often than most people.
Yeah, see, I guess that's the one problem with it. Is like when I was a kid, my grandmother, if I get a cold or anything like that, I would have like a honey and lemon thing or a lot of honey stuff. And there was honey and something that my grandma would always give me because she's always been one of those people. You know, it's a fairly new-ish thing, within the last, 10 years where people like this holistic medicine, natural stuff. My grandma was always that person. Every time I got a cold or sinus mess or anything, that was my grandma's go-to, is honey and something. And I think that's what it is. Every time I drink it, that's it. I'm getting flashbacks to like not feeling well and spending time with my grandmother and drinking honey and lemon or honey and something else.
Well, for me, it was always grape-flavored cold medicine, which is why I cannot stand grape-flavored things. Like, I don't like grape soda or anything like that, just because it reminds me of the grape cold medicine.
See, my favorite thing that she did was straight up honey and lemon. But this is not quite that. She ate all kinds of other, like, honey and something. So, yeah.
Well, honey, it always reminded me of being able to get, like, hot tea. Mom would make us hot tea, sometimes if we were sick, which was way better than the cold medicine. So, for me, it almost feels like the same kind of thing.
We have a little better memories of stuff like that. So I feel
like this would be the cup I would drink if I was not feeling great.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I come in to the school here and you have made a pot of hot honey coffee, which obviously we did, but I mean, I'm going to drink it. I'm just not going to enjoy it quite as much. It's still coffee, I still love coffee. I'm still an addict, there's that. But anyway, you guys, if you want to try out any flavor of Blackout Coffee or just their regular coffee, go to impactgear.live/coffee. And if they don't have a sale going on, be sure to use the coupon code Impact Defense. We'll get you 10% off of anything that you purchase over there. They also have these really nice mugs that we drink out of all the time. We've got a bunch around here. We're always littered with Blackout Coffee mugs, so there's that. All right, guys. So don't forget impactgear.live/coffee. And now I guess it's time for the news story.
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
So, this one it says, one night about 7 years ago, I just moved into my new home. The neighborhood was a good place with no major crime. About 2 months after I moved in, I hear a huge bang at 2 a.m. at the door. And then a loud redneck voice. I'm in bed. I sleep nude, by the way. My first reaction is to grab the sword near my bed and charge into the living room and yell. The look on the guy's face was priceless. A 300-plus pound nude guy with a sword yelling at him at the top of his lungs. I know. He got out as fast as he could, tripping over himself, and fell in the yard while running. Call the cops, put on some pants, and waiting for the cops to get to me. Once they arrived, they had already caught some guy and had someone in custody, so they had caught him trying to break into another home down the street. I confirmed that it was him, and once the trial came, found out that he was on meth and looking for an abandoned lot to crash in. So the guy's on meth and looking for a place to stay and just sees a 300-pound nude guy running at him with a sword.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
Now, once again, these are personal stories. And if these are true, I can definitely see why they don't make it into the news.
Speaking of which, guys, if you have a personal self-defense story or know someone has a personal self-defense story, write it down, send it to us, and Jada will read it on the podcast.
Please leave the explicit language at home so I don't have to filter it to read it out.
As long as it doesn't get any worse than just the last story that you read anyway, we'll put it that way.
I mean, if I was on meth and looking for a place to stay, I think I'd run away from that house too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been on meth, but...
Well, I mean, even if you wasn't on meth, even if you just broke into the house and that's what you saw, I think, yeah. I honestly, I just don't know what else to say about it. That's a very interesting story. We'll just leave it at that. And thank you, Jada.
You're welcome. Are you scarred yet?
Yes. Yeah, okay. A little bit.
Good.
Okay, on to main talking points of this podcast. We're talking about flying. In this series that we've been kind of going through in these moments when we didn't have a special guest or a special thing going on, we have been talking about self-defense and travel and just like being safe when you're traveling and stuff like that. And today we're talking about like airlines. So the first thing we need to think about is like your luggage tags, you know, where you have your name and address and all that kind of stuff on it. You probably want to have the type that, not probably, but you want to have the type with the flap over it. So it's not just obvious. When it's rolling down the baggage claim and you can just everybody see then your name and address as it goes down. Have the one with the flap over. And then when you just look for it and then just like grab that one, look and just, oh, okay. Yep, that's mine. You know, don't have it there where everybody and the brother can see it.
Yeah, this is just a little tip. You know, it's just keep a flap over your luggage tag.
Yeah.
It helps conceal your personal information.
Yeah, I mean, and even just like walking through the airport, somebody with good eyesight or a phone or anything can just like snap a picture of that, especially if it looks like you are, you know, well off or something. You know, they find your address, they know you're flying out, and then all of a sudden they go, hey, look, this person can be robbed. And if you think that kind of stuff doesn't actually happen, read some news stories because it does. Another thing on those tips would be kind of to avoid maybe expensive looking luggage. Maybe don't look like you're uber rich when you're flying places.
We're going to get some eye rolls on that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying don't have good quality luggage, but I'm saying like the really showy kind of stuff, the kind of stuff that's going to make you more likely to be a target.
If it is diamond encrusted or gold inlaid, leave it at home. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, you know.
People have diamond encrusted and gold inlaid luggage.
Do what?
I said, do people have diamond encrusted and gold inlaid luggage?
I don't know. I've only flown a couple of times.
That just sounds like something a rich person from Disney Channel would have.
You're right. It's very true.
So just don't look like you're super well off so that people don't steal your luggage.
Yeah, and it's not saying don't have nice stuff.
And it's not saying that they're not going to steal your luggage if you...
Yeah, I mean, that's true too. But I mean, you know, you're just less likely to be a target if you kind of like don't flaunt the fact that you have like all this, you know, like really expensive stuff. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not saying don't have nice stuff. It's just saying, you know, don't flaunt it unnecessarily. Mm-hmm. That's basically all we're saying.
I guess another thing would be travel fairly light. Don't overpack, you know. There's not a ton that you actually need.
So I think as much as I'm going to get in trouble for this, I think my wife really needs to listen to this section because it's like every time we go on vacation, it's like, oh, I may need this. I may need this. I may need this. Oh, and there's like half the clothes in the luggage or more so she doesn't ever actually even wear. She always takes like so much more than she actually needs to take at the moment. And So, Julie, I love you. Take notes.
I'm sure she listens to this podcast every day.
She does some.
Some?
She doesn't catch every episode. Okay. She does some. Yeah, every once in a while I'll look over and she's watching our podcast like on YouTube or something like that. So
I'm someone that it bothers if it looks like I'm an overpacker. I don't like people thinking that I overpack, but because of the traveling I've done in the past, of me, like my husband and me, I'm the only one that has a full set of luggage. Mm-hmm. So what I usually pack in is the carry-on bag. That's where my clothes and everything go. And usually I can fit basically everything I need as far as clothes go in that carry-on bag. But whenever we go somewhere, a lot of times you have to have towels and shower supplies and everything. And we'll use the bigger piece of luggage for all of those things that we share. Mm-hmm. But since it matches my carry-on, it just looks like I've packed 2 giant bags full of stuff, and he's over there with a backpack. And I just can't help but feel I am kind of annoyed that anybody looking would just assume that this is full of all my stuff.
So look at that poor lady. She doesn't let her husband bring anything. She just packs so much that he just can't bring anything. So, yeah, when I'm flying, personally, when I fly, I only have a carry-on. I do everything I can to pack super light. Now, if I'm not flying, which is vast majority, I said I've only flown a couple of times. So when I'm not flying, I'm kind of a medium packer. So we have somebody in our family, and she takes pride in the fact that she packs super, super light. It's like, oh, I can get everything I need for an entire week in this one piece of carry-on luggage. I was like, if you're driving there, it's not that big of a deal, to have 2 pieces of luggage. But, I don't go like way overboard either. So I have, I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle. I just like, So at the end of the vacation, I may end up with like, oh, there's like 1 shirt I didn't wear, or there's like, so I usually go, I do what I feel like I need and maybe just like 1 or 2 items more. I
usually pack 1 more outfit than I think I need.
Yeah. See, that's not bad. Mm-hmm. That's not, in my opinion, that's not bad because that's basically about how I do. Hey, and look at that. I said that, and look who messaged me. It's just the person who brags about packing so light.
Oh, my goodness. No, I'm not one who brags about packing light. I just don't like looking extra. So
No. I get that. I know.
Because there's a lot of assumptions made, and it's obnoxious.
Yeah. So there was I went to go teach in another state, and I was teaching down there, and I was there for like a span of 10 days. So since my wife was there, she wasn't going to be obviously teaching with me the whole time. Some other friends went with us as well, and one of those is the one who is so bragging about the fact that she packs super light, and she packed her stuff and her son's stuff in 1 carry-on bag, just 1 little carry-on bag for 10 days worth of stuff. And I was like, oh, holy crap. So yeah, it's just
poor kid.
I
know. Because it's okay to have enough to be comfortable when you go.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But where I see overpacking is when I was in high school and I went to summer camp. Obviously, I was with the teenage girls in a van, and they had this big, almost U-Haul trailer for all of our stuff, which it was a big group going. So that was understandable. Okay. I was going, well, won't there be plenty of extra space? That seems a little too much. Couldn't they have just brought a truck? Had someone in a truck drive us? Mm-hmm. No. Here I am with my carry-on full of stuff and maybe a couple plastic bags for my shoes and the items that you don't want to put in with your clothes. And then there are these girls coming in with entire, those plastic cabinets that you kind of keep in your bathroom for extra toiletries and stuff?
Yeah.
They're about like 3 feet tall and a foot wide. There were girls bringing those things full of their makeup and
summer camp
supplies. Yes. And 3 bags of clothes and shoes or whatever they put in there. I'm just going, what Why? One person brought their lamp, like not a desk lamp, a standing room lamp. And I'm trying to figure out where the heck I am going because it must not be summer camp. And so we get there, and it's a fairly large cabin, and it was much nicer of a cabin than I was expecting, but it was not. It was still a summer camp. Yeah. But these girls, I was so mad, you guys, because we had 3 hours in the middle of the day where nothing was scheduled. And I had never been there before, and our counselors didn't actually tell us what our options on what to do during that 3 hours was. Apparently, you could go kayaking, swimming. There were lots of different things that you could do during that time. But since I didn't know where to go and no one told me that those were options, I just thought there was going to be a day for kayaking, you know, that was going to be an activity one day. It was not. That was something you were supposed to do in that 3 hours of what is apparently called free time. You know what they did? After lunch and our activities, they would go to the room for 3 hours, shower, put on a full face of Instagram makeup, do their hair, their friend's hair, and all the while I'm just kind of laying in bed going, this is so boring. Who the heck planned these days? Why do we have 3 hours where we're just sitting in here? I took naps most days.
How long?
Meanwhile, my friend that I met there and hung out with the entire time, she forgot her hairbrush. So if that tells you anything.
At what day? Like if you're there for 5 days, what day did you find out, oh, I could have been kayaking?
The day before we left.
So day 4.
Yes. Yes. I had 3 days. 3 full days of sitting there listening to them talk while doing makeup.
Oh, that sounds
for 3 hours a day.
Wonderful.
I spent 9 hours of my life doing this, you guys.
Okay, I think we've left airplanes a little bit, though.
Yes, we have. I am so sorry. But if that is you, please get a grip on your life. I'm sorry. That was a big, long rant. You don't even have to leave that in the podcast. Just, I needed to get that rant off my chest.
That's all good. That's all good. It's entertaining. All right. Don't put valuables in your luggage or in your checked luggage. Let's not put your valuables in your checked luggage. If you're going to check luggage at an airport, maybe don't put the most expensive things that you own in that. Maybe put that in your carry-on. Just a thought. That's kind of
That's a pretty simple one.
Yeah, it really is simple. It really is. You probably want to make a list of everything that's in all of your luggage as well, and have that with you either in a bag, a carry-on bag, or something like that. So everything that you check,
you can even lay everything out on your bed beforehand or on the floor, and
this is the contents of this one. This is the contents of that one.
Or you can just take a snapshot of everything that was going in your luggage.
That's true too, because sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes it is something is unzipped, checked out, and stolen from within your luggage. So it's just one of those things. That's a great idea. I don't know why I said make a list. Really, you could just take a picture. So, hey, these are all the things. Lay everything out. These are all the things. Snap. There we go.
Well, I am from the lazy generation, so.
Oh, yeah. We still made lists in Generation X. So, Gen Xers make lists. Not really. I take pictures on my phone most of the time when I'm trying to remember something. So, let's be honest. You make the paper list, and I'm the one that makes the list on my phone. So.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Anyway. I rarely use my phone for list making.
All right. When you are in the airport, keep your luggage in front of you in eyesight. If you're standing there, especially standing in line or something, and your luggage is behind you, number one, they might be able to get your name and stuff like that off of, if you didn't follow the first rule that we mentioned, they might get your name and address and everything off your labels. But other than that, they could actually, maybe possibly take something out of it. They might could check it out. They might could unzip something. You never really know. So keep it in eyesight. And then if you're going to, check your luggage, kind of keep an eye on it until it is actually gone and out of the public area. Those are just kind of some basic thoughts on luggage when you're flying.
Now, when you're in the actual plane, usually you throw your carry-on into the overhead compartment. So you're not usually worried about that one all that much.
Yeah.
But just remember that you can't access that during your flight. Because most of the time that you're on the flight, you're going to be sitting down. So just make sure that things you're going to need during the flight are in your on-person bag.
Yeah.
Whereas your more valuable items are in your carry-on in that overhead compartment. Because most of the time when you're on a plane, you're not seated next to somebody that you know. Some of you travel alone, some of you travel with people, but I was with a big group and none of us really were seated with each other. I was next to people I didn't know for both flights. Any important items, if you have a very long flight or think you might want to sleep during the flight, just make sure that you don't have valuables on your person and they're near you, but just not where they can be easily accessed.
Gotcha. Every time I've flown, I had a carry-on and then I had like a computer bag. Because basically every time I've flown, it's been for business-wise either, so something along those lines. So I have a carry-on that I would put in the overhead compartment, and I would have a computer bag that I would usually keep right there with me. And sometimes I did some computer work while flying or whatever, but like I always had those two things. That's always what I've carried. So yeah, I just try to hold on to that bag in such a way where people couldn't get to it. Of course, I don't sleep on a plane, but I'm usually the goofy dude looking out the window or doing some work on something else.
No, that's me. I didn't sleep during my flights. I just looked out the window at the clouds the whole time, except for my flight back. My flight in, I was able to look out the window because I had the window seat. But my second flight, I was in the middle seat, and the person at the window seat wanted to sleep the whole time, so they kept the window shut. I was going, so trade seats with me and fall asleep in the middle because I want to look out the window.
The very first time
I've got a 4-hour flight in between two people I don't know, and the window's closed.
The very first time I flew, I had a very similar situation, except it was like 3 seats across, and I had booked what I thought was the window seat, but it was actually the aisle seat. And so when I went in, I sat down next to the window, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to get to fly for the first time. I'm going to look out and everything. The person comes up and goes, that's my seat. I was like, oh, I don't think so. This is mine. And as I started looking, I was like, oh, crap, it's not. And so then they take that, and what do? They close the thing for the window, and they go to sleep over there. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. You wanted that seat, and then I can't even look out, and it's my first time flying. And I just was like, so I was a little disappointed.
Yeah,
So also, don't be a punk on the plane.
Yeah, yeah. If your plan is to sleep through the flight, ask if it's anybody's first time flying or if anybody particularly wants to look out the window during the flight, and then give them that seat.
Yeah.
Don't shut the window for people who are just going to sit there bored the whole time.
Yeah, that's when I pulled my computer out.
Don't be that stranger.
So... all right, you might want to check the laws. Definitely check the laws in the area that you're going to for, like, even if you can carry. So we've talked about tactical pins, we've talked about Munyo, the self-defense keychain, some of these other things that you can actually carry on a flight and not having no problems with it. Check and make sure that you can carry it wherever you're going. Because I don't know if it's overseas or something like that, or for certain states and then certain like countries like connected to here in America, you can't carry certain things that are designed to be a weapon. Even something like as simple as a Munyo self-defense keychain, which I'm a big fan of, and I think for flying and stuff like that, that's a great option. But like if you're going to Canada, for say, you can't really carry that there, because it is designed to be a weapon, even though it's kind of like a nice person's weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure you understand the laws when you are traveling somewhere, so you know what you can carry, or if you can carry anything, any kind of force multiplier tool. Mm-hmm. But speaking of force multiplier tools, be sure to check out the Stealth Pin Pro by Atomic Bear. All right, go to impactgear.live/stealthpin. That thing is phenomenal and absolutely, without a doubt, my absolute favorite tactical pin. And we have checked out several of them, especially at this point. If you guys haven't seen any of those videos, go over to YouTube and check those out. We have a bunch of videos about the tactical pins, what we like and don't like about some of them. Some of the tactical pins that we have tried out did not last any kind of just basic kind of normal durability test. So make sure you have a good quality tactical pin, and our favorite is the Stealth Pro by Atomic Bear. If you go over to impactgear.live/stealth pin and then use the coupon code Impact Defense, that will actually even get you 20% off of those. And that is I cannot say enough good stuff about that pin. And I've carried mine a lot of places.
So in a kind of summary, just remember to try and conceal your name and address, just any personal information that is attached to your luggage with a luggage tag or whatever. You can use a luggage tag cover, something like that. Avoid expensive looking luggage just because it could make you more targeted. Travel light. Don't put way more than you need in your luggage. 1, so you can move around easily. 2, just because the more you pack, the more can be stolen. Don't put valuable items in checked luggage just because you are leaving it unattended for a very extended amount of time. Make a list or take a picture of the contents inside of your luggage bags just so that you can keep extra track of everything that is inside. Keep luggage in front of you when at ticket counters and checkpoints. Just keep your luggage where you can see it. And anytime that you can see your luggage, just make sure that you're keeping a glanced eye on it, because the more you see your luggage, the less likely something is to happen.
Exactly. All right.
Then, check laws of wherever you're going for whatever your force multiplier tool of choice is.
Yes.
And if it's illegal, don't carry it.
Very true. Very true. All right. So, guys, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. If you have been enjoying the podcast, please head over to Apple Podcast or any place where you get this podcast. Rate us and write a review, and it helps us out as a podcast because it helps let other people know about our awesome podcast. I feel like I said podcast like 50 times in that one little run-on sentence. All right, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Podcast.